Hello, friends. Happy Friday, and thanks so much for joining us today. Yeah, I know many of you were looking forward to seeing In the Loop with Greg and I, but unfortunately, Greg got pulled to the newsroom. So he'll be back with us next week, and we have a really special show saved for In the Loop next week. We're going to talk about things like Amazon Prime Day. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of robots and tech. So you're definitely not going to want to miss next week's episode. But with that, we're going to have here In the Loop to keep you in the loop on this beautiful Friday. Let's get started.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, welcome to Level Up Live. It is so wonderful to have you join us here. It's a special show because it's Fridays. It's usually In the Loop, but today we're going to make it level up. And that way we can talk about a whole bunch of big trending business news for the day and the week. For those of you who are brand new to the show, welcome. I'm Winnie, your longtime financial pro, CNBC council member and contributor, Forbes contributor, and also host of In the Loop, which is usually here on Fridays. But we'll be back next week and it'll be a lot of fun. But for those of you who are brand new to the show, welcome. It is wonderful to have you join us. Let's get started and let you know how the market's doing currently. So currently the Dow is down about 84 points. The Nasdaq's down about 26 points currently. And the S&P 500 also is currently in the red, down 5 points. So certainly negative across the board, but it's Friday and it's, we got the weekend to look forward to, and things could change because the market hasn't closed yet. So we'll see how that fares the rest of the day. Now, some of the big stories that I want to share with you in particular, kind of like I always try to pick stories that I think will tell you where we're at currently, but to help you sort of pivot and make directional decisions into the future, right? So that you know how to plan for your family's financial situation, your budgeting and things like that. A big shout out also. I see that Joshua just walked in on YouTube Live. Thank you so much, CrossX Fighter, for joining us live. Always a treat to have you with us. But my first story was shared on CNN by Alicia Wallace, talking about how many of us here in the United States, many Americans, in fact, are facing longer unemployment durations because currently, the economy is sort of, I think, in somewhat of a standstill. The inflation rates are still very high, and so there's still a lot of concern when it comes to unemployment. Not to mention, we talk about AI on the show quite a bit. That's also putting some pressures in terms of what companies are doing in terms of who they're hiring, as well as who they're letting go as well. So more Americans are now staying unemployed for extended periods of time, with continuing jobless claims now hitting over 1.8 million, in fact, which is actually the highest here in the United States since 2021, in November 2021, in fact. So initial unemployment claims actually slightly decreased a little bit to 233,000, which is good, but this remains very much up and down. So this is still near pre-pandemic levels. But we've seen that a lot of data coming from various sources now include that job cut reports and layoff notices do suggest that initial claims were less likely to rise through the summer. But now we're seeing that indicators point to a significant reduction in job growth, potentially below 100,000. So if there's not a lot of job growth, well, then people aren't able to get new jobs, right? And we do know that typically at the end of the year, you see a lot of companies making cuts to their employee base in ways to cut expenses as they have to report earnings before the end of the year. But now we're seeing that shift a little bit. We're seeing that more people are staying unemployed, that there's less jobs available and all that. So if this hasn't been on the radar, I just want to make sure that you're seeing, because the Fed continues to, maintain high interest rates now because they want to see inflation get closer to the 2% range, and it's not there yet. And so rising unemployment rate could actually complicate that position where inflation, in terms of decreasing interest rates may not happen if we also have issues with unemployment. So, something to keep in mind. Now, let's segue to the next story. And this one I'm excited to share with you because this comes from CNBC. Jenna Contino and I actually we talked about this story just yesterday, and I think it's a great one. I'm really grateful to be asked to contribute to this. This one is talking about how consumers can navigate dining out amid inflation. Right, this is a big thing. We know that inflation doesn't mean that we don't eat out yet. I don't know about you, but my family and I, we love it. It's like sort of like part of the culture of like going out, spending time with loved ones, eating out. That's some of the things that we did. And in fact, we did that last yesterday with some friends. But despite inflation, 81% of Americans still dine out at least once a month, with 31% actually dining out weekly. So let me ask you this, for those of you, and I see a lot of you tuning in live with me today, how many of you eat out at least once a week? Tell me, go ahead and put in comments if you eat out once a week. Now, if you don't eat out once a week and you eat out at least once a month, put that in as well. Or if it's a different amount, let me know how often you eat out. See, rising prices are influencing a lot of consumer habits. In fact, many people are opting out for takeout or cheaper like value meals, right? Happy hour deals as well to manage costs. But the article shared that 69% of diners actually report higher meal prices. I've seen that for sure. I was shocked. In fact, I'll tell you. Yesterday, we were sort of walking and we saw a sign on a Subway sandwich, and it was like almost over $18 for a Subway sub, bag of chips, and soda. I was shocked how expensive a Subway sandwich meal now is. So I'm sure you've seen this as well. But many people are, because of that, have been sort of changing the way that they're spending, changing the way they're eating. In fact, 39% of those surveys said that they've noticed, number one, smaller portions from the restaurants, although the prices remain the same or actually have gone a lot higher. And I would say probably in most cases they've gone a lot higher. In fact, yesterday we took our kids out for they wanted a milkshake. You know how much a milkshake was? Like $10, $11. It was shocking. And this was like, I think it was at Cold Stone. So it wasn't like, we didn't go like an ice cream shop. So you would think it would be more reasonable for kids to have a milkshake, but not the case. But post pandemic, definitely the desire to enjoy life has, led to continued dining out by many, many Americans. Even with these higher costs, people are just sort of changing the way that they're spending. But to give you an idea, here are some tips on what you can do. And some of these were shared in the article if you're looking to still continue to spend and go out. And some of these are my tips. So well, first off, my tip is this. If you're going to go out to eat, the first thing you want to do is do a little bit of research. Go online. A lot of these websites have the prices printed of the menu. Or if you can't find it, you can go to Yelp or Google. And then usually you have customers who've actually taken pictures of the menu themselves as a photo. And usually the prices will be listed on the right side corner. That way, before you even go to the restaurant, you kind of know what you're going to order. You kind of know how much it's going to cost you. And you can make a really smart decision before you even get there. And I know it's an extra step and I know it's more work. And many of you are already so busy. But sometimes it takes money to save money. And so this is one of the ways that I would suggest you do that. Pull up on your phone, put up on your computer, whatever, game plan your meal. Okay. This also works really nicely because if, like, let's say it's just too expensive, it gives you a chance to change and pivot to a different location. And that's totally okay, right? It's a meal. Like after you eat it, you probably won't remember it. So, I mean, take some pictures and probably okay. The other thing I would recommend is nowadays there's a lot of restaurants where you can buy discounted gift cards. Okay. If you have warehouse store membership like a Costco or a Sam's Club or a BJ's, a lot of these warehouses will sell discounted um, restaurant gift cards, some like 20, 25%, especially during like promotional periods, which we're seeing a lot of right now near the July 4th holiday. And so that would give you a chance to pick up some gift cards to your local restaurant. And that's a great way to do it as well. The other thing that I always recommend is if you can, find a place that you love dining at. So like, for example, my mom has this beautiful backyard, right, with a swimming pool and everything else. And it's really relaxing. So what we do is sometimes we'll just bring food, pick up food and take it to your house and set it up like a nice restaurant, super relaxed, and we save, by not having to pay gratuity, which we know can really add up as well. So the other thing that some of the tips that they were shared in the restaurant were on the article were this: some people, they'll go to like happy hour day or certain slower days like Monday or Tuesday, they might have discounts and specials. And some people even say they opt for two appetizers and one entree for maybe like a family of three or four. That way they can save some money. I even saw this in TikTok where a lot of people were using different restaurants and showing different hacks, and one family was able to feed two kids plus two adults on two like Panda Express plates. So there's are ways that you can do this. And I would say, just get creative. And what the great thing about this is a lot of people are going to like fast casual restaurants, and they manage the fast casual restaurants, as you know, is you can buy what you think you need or maybe a little less. And if you feel like you need more, you can always go back to the counter and buy more food so you don't have as much waste, and you can kind of keep your budget in line as well. So some things to think about, but those are my tips. I hope you enjoy the article. We're definitely going to share it in comments. I would love for you to see what you gain from it, and also share your own tips on what we missed in that as well. So thanks so much, Jenna, for including me in that. That was a lot of fun to contribute to. All right, let's talk about the next thing. And this is something I know many of you follow, and something that we talked about on the show last year as well, which is Amazon Prime Day. Amazon Prime Day has been announced. Prime Day for 2024 is going to run from July 16th to the 17th. Now, do you know that Greg and I on the loop, we're going to be talking about this and sharing some things that we think might be interesting and should be on your radar. But this article is shared by Annie Palmer at CNBC, talking about some of these sales that you're going to be seeing on this 2-day mega sale, with millions of deals, they're saying, for Prime members. Now, so if you don't have Prime membership, know that this is going to be necessary for this event. But the event's going to feature new discounts released as often as every 5 minutes. So they're going to have these invitation only deals that'll be available for fast selling items. And this is sort of the trend that they had last year. And let me just say, some of these like short-term deals are really, really cool. And speaking of like the restaurant story that we talked a minute ago, last year I saw a lot of discounted restaurant gift certificates. So if that's something that you're interested in, know that that probably is going to be the case as well. So Prime Day is exclusive to Amazon members. You have to pay the $139 per year membership, unless you have like other discounted membership things. But this will give you access to this. And other retailers are also going to be trying to capitalize on Prime Day by running their own discounts. So don't just shop Amazon. So Walmart's going to do Walmart deals as well. Target's event is also going to be similar days. Target is doing from July 7th to the 13th. Best Buy is doing Black Friday in July, and that's going to be July 15th to the 17th. And so this will give you a chance to have multiple retailers competing for your business. Now, the best way to save, of course, is not buy what you don't need. But if you really do need something, do know that this is sort of an option. So Prime Day does drive significant value to revenue to these companies. In fact, here in the United States, online sales during the event reached a record $12.7 billion last year. And then like in 2022, it was like 11.9 billion. It's a crazy amount. In fact, Amazon, to give you an idea how much they sold 375 million items. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff sitting at people's houses, or maybe they've used it. I don't know. But anyway, that is Amazon. We'll have more to talk about on our show next week, but do know if that's something you're looking at or something you really need, that's on your radar. But one thing I want to share with you too, I thought this was an interesting article. This was on Fortune, talking about the rival between Sam's Club and Costco for Generation Z. Now, Generation Z, if you didn't know, Generation Z is the younger generation from millennials. So millennials are now older, and Generation Z is now the younger generation. Believe it or not, Gen Z here in the United States amounts to a $360 billion spending wallet power, if you will. So what they like to spend on is really meaningful for retailers across the United States. They are now a key demographic for business owners, right? So you really want to pay attention to their trends. So what we found in this story is that Sam's Club has seen a 68% increase in Gen Z memberships over the past 2 years because they want to save money, right? And they're saying that Gen Z actually prefers private branded products, with 64% buying them more frequently, which aligns to that sort of Sam's Club's what they call the members mark brand. Now, Costco has their own, which is a Kirkland brand. So they also have their own brand. But one thing that Sam's Club seems to be doing better than Costco right now is leveraging technology, including AI in their Scan and Go app, which Costco doesn't have, enhancing sort of that shopping convenience, which we know that the younger generation prefers. So the tech savvy Gen Z consumers. Now, Costco, as you know, I would say, as someone who has membership in both, I prefer the things that Costco sells, but I will say the Sam's Club shopping experience is much more enjoyable for me personally, my family. It's just so much more convenient. The scan and go, curbside pickup, hello Costco, still don't have that. Those are things that make it really makes it so that for my family having two memberships makes sense, even though I prefer the items that are sold at Costco. Now, Costco sort of has that traditional shopping experience, including manual checkouts, hello, and still a complex store layout. And so a lot of young people just want convenience, right? In fact, I went to the mall yesterday and haven't been in the mall in a really long time. And I'm sure you noticed this too. Many stores have closed, and the stores that haven't, they're really, really empty compared to what they were before. People are busy and people want convenience. And so nowadays, online shopping is certainly very strong. We can see that from the Amazon store, Amazon sale dates that we just announced too, right? Amazon Prime Day. So Kirkland, of course, is that very popular home brand for Costco, and it's also built a really loyal customer base. But Sam's Club, because of their innovative approach and the way that they treat technology, is really sort of eating Costco's lunch, at least when it comes to Gen Z. So, something to keep in mind, something to watch very closely. But with that, that's what I have for you today. I hope that you have a beautiful Friday and you enjoy this weekend. And wherever you are, stay cool. I know a lot of places are really warm. Stay cool. Have a beautiful week. Get some rest. Thank you so much for being a part of the Level Up family. I appreciate you so much. And do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest content. And to watch previous full episodes of Level Up with Winnie's Son, definitely check out NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, many other streaming platforms. And with sharing the episode online, definitely thank you so much for tagging at Winnie's Son so I can thank you on a future episode. With that, be well. I'll see you again next week. Take care now. Bye bye.